I'm staying at this decent size of a one-bed flat for 10 days in Cape Town. But it has 2 walls of mirrors facing each other. No matter which direction I look, I see long depths of mini-me going to the infinity, even though the phone camera doesn't capture it fully. Can you imagine how that can also reflect the many faces of me, many characters of me, and many lifetimes of me?
That is a question I'm going to answer in today's Hypnosis Q&A from around the world. Behind me is Cape Town's famous Table Mountain. The question I normally was asked often was that, do you remember your past lives, Kemila? What past lives did you have? In a recent group session in Kitsilano Community Center, I was hosting. The participants there also asked me about my own experiences in my past lives. So I shared with them this one and attempted past life regression. If you read my first book, Past Life Regression, and the manual book, and you know that our hypnotherapy instructor didn't believe in reincarnation, therefore he actually didn't teach us properly. But a few of us in the class, we were very intrigued and interested, so we got together and practiced with each other. So Tia was the one who was first working with me, and I remember she was taking it very seriously, and she brought some candles and we set it up in a time, and she did many inductions. For some reason, I thought it didn't work for me. I didn't say anything to her during the session. She tried many inductions, and in the end she had to stop it. And then after she brought me back, then I told her, oh, that doesn't work. What's that? A Mexican boy under the tree on a dirty road waiting for being picked up, might be a bus. What was that? And then Tia went, wow, now you're talking. I said, but it doesn't count because I didn't really see anything. It was more like a idea or than visual input or a feeling. So that was my first experience, the past life of Mexican boy. And the second one, again, I was working with a colleague, a classmate at the time, Alma, and I actually developed a script I gave to her and asked her to read and to hypnotize me and to read the script. And then I don't get to verbalize it. So Alma was reading the script slowly and got me into that state because there's no verbalizing pressure. And I actually went to a past life in Greece. Somehow I just knew it. And I was a farmer in the mountain, living relatively isolated with only my daughter, my young adult daughter. And in that life, I remember something was very clear to me, was like how angry that Greek farmer was, and just that anger was very strong during the session. Now I don't remember, I don't know why he was so angry. Maybe his wife died young, I don't know, but it's only him and his daughter in Greece, that life. And then we got a little more experienced. Another colleague, another classmate, Corey, worked with me. Now we actually didn't start with going to past life. We were just setting up some sessions, exchange some sessions for exploration. However, I spontaneously went to a past life. It was Mongolia lifetime, and the opening scene, I remember I was standing, a young lady standing on top of a hill and feeling the wind, and I was wearing a beautiful long skirt or dress of many colors, like a rainbow color, and letting the wind blow my skirt or dress, and feeling so happy, like I was gonna fly. So the next scene then, I went to a marketplace, or it felt like a festival. Many horses, maybe it's horse racing, harvest festival, everybody was dressed up. And so I was walking down with many people, like a marketplace. And then there's a lover image came to my mind. And then there was a son. So I gave birth to a boy. And after that, the lover was not in the picture anymore. I was raising my son. I think back there, then there was no like a marriage system, or probably all women they raise their children, and the father is not really much involved. And so when my son was 18 years old, and I remember we were invaded. So my son was about to go to battlefield to fight, and I was begging him not to go because he may be killed. And so I was so worried, and he just wanted to go, and I couldn't stop him, and I was devastated. And of course, lo and behold, he was killed, and which actually doesn't matter. Eventually everyone was killed, including me. So they killed all the fighters, and they killed all the women and children. And I remember something went in my stomach. That's how I died. Now that son in that Mongolian lifetime, actually I was able to identify as my brother in this lifetime. Interesting enough, when I was 18 in this life, I left home and for the university, and I really never like connected deeply with my son. So there might be something about 18 years age with my brother. So we're good. But we don't really call each other every once a while kind of thing. So maybe there's something there. But hold that thought because we're going to come back to this Mongolian lifetime in a while. And so it began, and I had a past life in Philippines, and in a village there was a flood that took many people's lives, and including my parents. So in that life I was about 5 or 6 years old. I was very young, and I lost my parents, and I survived because I was actually playing on a higher terrain with my friend. So my friend in that life wanted her parents to take me in, and they could do it for a while because I was like parentless, and then but then life was hard, and they couldn't really afford one more child to raise, so they had to let me go. And of course I was homeless and died very young of hunger. And my friend was very, very sad in that life, and I think she just made a decision to, if I have any other lifetime, I'm going to come back to take care of her friend, me, in that lifetime. And so this person turned out to be my mother in this life. My mother's love towards me was always unconditional. When I remember after high school, my father wanted me to work, and my mother was the one who supported me to go to university. And after my first job, like my dream job, teaching in a college, and I wanted to leave it, and my mother was the one supporting me when everyone else couldn't understand why I would do that. So my mother delivered her promise in that lifetime to take care of me. And I remember when I was like 12 or 13, I was reading a magazine. Then there was a short story titled "My Philippine Sister," the Philippine 姐妹 in Mandarin. And just reading that title, I don't even remember if I read the story, but I just got tears in my eyes. So obviously that was a past life memory. My friend in that life in Philippines, as was my sister. And so then I had another past life as a general in Korea. I was very strict, very disciplined, and nobody liked me. Everybody was afraid of me. The dog was the only friend I had. And in that lifetime, I took all of this being strict and disciplined to such an extreme that in this lifetime I actually don't quite even like the word discipline. And in that lifetime, my mother, my mother was my cook in that life, taking care of me another way. And then I had a past life in Malta. When I was traveling there, I felt that as a knight, it was a life about loyalty. And then when I was traveling in Ireland, and I had this memory coming back, a lifetime in Ireland as a monk. So that life was all about hardship. In my book, Carol's Lives, of course, I have documented a few of my own past lives. The standing out one is Rick Miller's lifetime, Carol's lover in that life. And he hanged himself, he killed himself. And there's another lifetime in that book, a mystic in northern Egypt. And we have all been sent and sinners in different lifetimes. I remember when I just first started, there was a young man. He came to see me for past life regression. And in that regression, he's a tall man in this life, but he went to a lifetime where he was bullied and mistreated by a group of people. It was a very hard life, and he had tears running down his cheeks. And during that session, I felt very uneasy. I didn't know why at the time, and as he was describing what was happening to him, I almost felt I was responsible, and I was one of those people the group of people who bullied him. I felt that, and I didn't say anything. And of course, I did what I did, professionally regressed to him. But there's some feeling, some uneasy and shame in me. Anyway, towards the end of the session, I was pretty sure I was in his lifetime, and one of the bullies. So when he came out of the session, the hypnosis part, and the look on his face kind of proved, kind of validated that, and I'm sure he didn't know what to think about it, but there's an energy in the room. So I felt that, and we didn't say anything about it. I didn't share with him, he didn't say anything about it. I decided to let him go without charging him, and I said that you don't have to pay, you can leave now, and if you need to know why, you can ask, I will tell you. He never asked, and I never told him why. I feel something in me felt right. It's almost like there's the least I could do. That's something I've never done, or I never did after that. It's only one case. The least thing I could repay something in the past life, in this lifetime. Now, that's not the only client case that I found, or client found me in the past life. Remember that my first successful past life regression session with Corey, I was a woman in Mongolia, and I had a lover with whom I had a son. And now, many years after that session, a young man, 12 years younger than I, came to see me for past life regression. And in that session, in a regression session, at one point, he said something quite strange. "Kemila, could you hold my hand?" His hand was beside him. So I felt that strange, but why not? So I put my hand in his hand, and then that's the moment he said, in that life, he said, "Actually, I knew you." So it turns out he went to a Mongolia lifetime, and he was, in that another lifetime, my client in that lifetime was my lover. It was so fascinating, so intriguing to hear the story that I knew from his perspective. So I never shared with him about my regression. I actually also went back to that lifetime. So I let him tell his tale, and the first thing I did after the session was to call Corey. Corey, you cannot believe it. It's quite accurate. So it's validating. It's true, sometimes people can be regressed to a same lifetime and telling the same story from different perspectives. And also there was another lady, and she was regressed back to a Dutch lifetime and picking apples in an orchard. And she said, "Oh, you are here too. We're picking orchard together. We're not friends, but we know each other. We are friendly." And oh, wait a second, I helped you for whatever reason. You're almost full, and I help you. Ah, she said, that's why in this lifetime you're here to help me. So it's kind of fun to meet people in different lifetimes. So maybe it's true, as they say, nothing is a coincidence. Everything somehow in some way is orchestrated. The lighthouse of Cape of Good Hope. This is a very familiar place. The name of it, Cape of Good Hope, very familiar to me. Ever since high school, I read it in our geographic textbook. It used to be a dot on a map for me, but here I am in real, impossible place, but I'm here. That is the Cape of Good Hope. It's a very rugged place, very hard place, stormy place. Maybe that's why it's called the Cape of Good Hope, and this beautiful beach there. It is here that I realize I really don't care about past life anymore, like where I was or what I've been. It is this life that matters, and this life, I can do anything, be anything, if I set my mind to. Here I am in South Africa, Cape of Good Hope.